Yes, thanks for joining me once again here on Classic Dirt Bike TV for the final video from the 2025 Bill Brown Classic Scramble. And in this last episode, we're going to show you the remaining 8 races that we filmed on the Sunday. Now, of course, there were 24 races on the day, but I personally only filmed the first 16. So let's get our next one underway, which will be the second race of the day for the classic pre-60s, pre-65s and the pre-1968 class. And as you can see, a slight improvement in the weather now. It's been quite overcast for most of the weekend, but thankfully I'm now seeing a bit of the sun. So as the riders get ready to leave the line, looks like we've got a lineup of Cecil Pearson Japs there as they head into turn 1, but it's number 26 James Thompson who leads at number 55. That's Callum Pearson in second position. Looks like Adrian Lappin is currently third as they make their way up the hill to begin lap 1. So as the riders make their way round on lap 1, James Thompson is already opening up a bit of a gap on the next 3 riders of Callum Pearson, Adrian Lappin and Sam Alderman in 4th position. So James Thompson off to a belter of a start for this second classic race of the Sunday afternoon. But what a weekend it's been for these Cecil Pearson Japs. They've been quite a good crowd puller and a nice point of interest while the bikes were lined up in the paddock, and seeing them all as a display for interesting punters to have a look at. But as you can see, these bikes are not just unique to look at, they're pretty damn quick as well on the track, especially in the hands of these guys here, James Thompson, Adrian Lappin and young Callum Pearson. So again, a big thanks to Cecil and his team for all his efforts in bringing these unique Japs all the way from Northern Ireland. We're looking at our 4th place position rider, Sam Alderman, and I'm pretty sure that that's a Jap engine that's in that bike of Sam's as well. Number 310 is Scott Remington, just making his way through there, and number 380 just going past there is Jeff Taylor on his lovely 380 CZ Twin Porter. So it's still number 26 James Thompson in the lead. There's your second place man just going through. Number 55, that's Callum Pearson. Number 44 is Adrian Lappin. Number 235 is Sam Alderman. As I said, that bike of Sam's is listed in the programme as a BSA, but I've got some close-up pictures of that bike and it's definitely a Jap engine in that frame. So Sam Alderman doing quite well there in 4th position. So we've got John Alfred Presswich engines in positions 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this will give you an idea of just how quick these old 1930s Jap engines are. There's your race leader, James Thompson, number 26. It should be Callum Pearson, number 55 in second. There's Callum just making his way through. Adrian Lappin is still currently third. Sam Alderman in 4th. So there's your second place man just making his way through, Callum Pearson. It's currently Adrian Lappin in 3rd. Sam Alderman trying to make a move on Adrian as they make their way up the hill. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out of that particular battle, but it's still Callum Pearson in second position. Adrian Lappin is managing to keep Sam Alderman behind him at this point in the track, but Sam looks like he's going to have another go as they go into the turn. These classic races, of course, are not as long as the British Championship races that we had on the Saturday. I think it's only about 4 or 5 laps for these classic bikes, so they're relatively short races compared to the Saturday's race programme. So we've certainly got a nice little scrap going on between second, third and fourth positions here. Nothing to choose between these three bikes. It's Callum Pearson who's currently in second. There's James Thompson just making his way through. Adrian Lappin is still in second position. Sam Alderman keeping a watching brief there in fourth place. So this youngster from Northern Ireland, Callum Pearson, going well on one of Cecil's Rickman Japs. It's quite nice to see the sun at this Westmoreland County Showground. As I said, it was quite bleak and overcast on the Saturday, a bit colder, but as you can see, the weather here on the Sunday was absolutely perfect. As we catch up with our race leader again, number 26, James Thompson, and as he heads towards the finish line, he'll be starting his final lap of this classic race. I think James has already won a race in the first one of the afternoon, so this could be race win number 2 for the man from Northern Ireland. There's your third. That's your second placed rider now, because it appears that Adrian Lappin has managed to pass Callum Pearson. So now Adrian is up into second position. It looks like Sam Alderman's looking to make a move on Callum Pearson as well for that third placed position. So we'll just stay with these couple of riders to see if there's going to be any change at the front, but still currently James Thompson, your race leader, from Adrian Lappin in second, as we take a look at the battle for third and fourth places between Callum Pearson and Sam Alderman. Let's not forget Sam's also ridden perfectly this weekend. He had a good show on the Saturday as well, so he's had quite a good weekend here at the Westmoreland County Showground. So there's your race leader heading towards the checkered flag, and I think this will be James's second win of the Sunday, so he's another one of the Team Jap riders who've had quite a good weekend at this Bill Brown Classic Scramble. So it's going to be a win for number 26, James Thompson, but we're wanting to have a look at who's going to take that second and third placed positions. Looks like it's going to be Adrian Lappin who's just going to steal it from number 55, Callum Pearson, in third. So that now brings us on to race 2 for the Sunday afternoon. This is the pre-1974s up to and over 250 cc's as the riders. The line looks like a good start there by, I think that's number 2, Chris Winder on the CR250 Honda Elsinore. Looks like Nathan Jones currently in second position. Derek McCauley just making his way up the hill on that 250 Bultaco Persang. So as our riders begin lap 1, it is indeed number 2, Chris Winder, on that very quick 250 Honda Elsinore. Second position looks like it's Nathan Jones on the 400 Husqvarna. Nathan Jones is another rider who's had a very good weekend here at the Bill Brown Classic Scramble. Nathan has been running in about second or third position in almost every single race he entered over the weekend, and he's doing well there again in second position. That looks like number 103, I think that's Dylan Brown in third position. Ian Stainton is currently in fourth on the Clues Stroker, but this man absolutely flying around this Westmoreland race circuit. It's number 2, Chris Winder. There's your second place man, Nathan Jones, number 873 on the 400 Husqvarna, and it's currently number 125, Ian Stainton on the 4-stroke Clues Stroker. Number 103 just making his way past again is Dylan Brown, so it looks like Dylan's dropped down a couple of places. Number 125, Ian Stainton's another rider that's done really well this weekend. Had some decent results on Saturday, and it looks like he's currently in third position on that 4-stroke Clues machine. But here's your man of the minute, number 2, Chris Winder, coming round to complete another lap. This is only a 250cc Honda Elsinore, but you can certainly get a lap in quite quickly on that little nimble Honda. These little 250 Elsinores, of course, were Honda's first ever purpose-built motocross machine. I think they were introduced into the UK around 1973 or 74, and they were an absolute revelation, this little bike, and you can see exactly why, because these little things are super quick for a 1970s motocrosser. There's your second place man, number 873, Nathan Jones, and that's a 400 Husqvarna that Nathan's riding. We're looking at number 31 there, who I think is Stephen Hinchcliffe, and Stephen's just in front of number 686, that's Gary Colonel on the 250 Bull Taco. Number 72 just making his way past there, that's Mauro Gotet on his KTM 250. So it looks like Chris Winder's got quite a decent lead now over second place man Nathan Jones. So it's the very quick and nimble 250 Honda Elsinore versus the Swedish 400cc Husqvarna of Nathan Jones. So Chris Winder looks like he's well on his way to what will be his second win of the afternoon. There's your second place man, Nathan Jones, who, as I said, has also had a fantastic weekend here. Nathan's been certainly winning in the first 2 or 3 bikes in every race that he's been in, so he's had a very good weekend thus far here at the Bill Brown Scramble. And we've still got a decent scrap going on for the third and fourth placed positions between this man here, number 31, that's Stephen Hinchcliffe on his 250 Elsinore, versus number 686, that's Gary Colonel there on that Mark 7 250 Taco Persang. So that's Stephen Hinchcliffe and Gary Colonel there slugging it out for that third and fourth placed position. But here's your race leader coming across the line to begin his final lap of this race. So looks like Chris Winder's going to be untroubled as he heads towards the checkered flag. I don't think anybody's going to get close enough to make any kind of challenge, so he's well on his way to what could be his second win of the afternoon. There's your second place man, Nathan Jones, on the 400cc Husqvarna. So it looks like there's going to be another good result there for Nathan on the Swedish Husky. And as you can see, the track in perfect condition still. We did give the track a good watering on the Saturday night, so it's certainly holding up well here, even though the sun is out. So that was Nathan Jones just making his way through there in second position. Here's the battle for third and fourth, so it's still Stephen Hinchcliffe and Gary Colonel going at it for that third place position, but I think it's advantage Stephen Hinchcliffe as they go into the turn, so any one of these two could still take that third place position. So it looks like Chris Winder is just cruising to the finish line. I think he could still have a cup of coffee and still be in the lead of this race, but it's been another good ride here by the talented young Chris Winder. So if he comes around the last turn to take the checkered flag, it's a win for Chris Winder. Second place man is going to be this man here, Nathan Jones, number 873. It looks like it's going to be Gary Colonel who's going to cross that line to take that third place for Stephen Hinchcliffe in fourth. So that brings us on to race 11, and this will be the second race for the pre-1978s, including the Twin Choke 125B class as well. So another good lineup of riders for this combined race class. We're just waiting on the 15-second board being raced, the official starter getting into position there. So the 15-second board is just about to go up, shortly to be 5 seconds. So as the riders leave the line in the blazing sunshine here at the Westmoreland County Showground, it looks like it's number 62, I think that's Chris Woodward, who has got the pole shot. Number 56 in second place, I think that's Tony Barnes on the big 4-stroke CCM. So as the riders make their way down from the hill on lap 1, it is indeed Chris Woodward, the race leader, from number 56 Tony Barnes. Number 186 just making his way through there is Steve Van Dom. So he seems to have recovered after his DNF in the previous race, but there's your race leader, Chris Woodward, who looks like this time he's riding a nice YZ 250 or possibly even a 465 Yamaha. So Chris Woodward is your current race leader, from Tony Barnes there in second position. So Chris Woodward has made a very good start here as he comes across the line to complete lap 1. And we've got Tony Barnes in second position, who also did quite well in the previous race. So this is lining up to be quite a good battle here between the YZ 2-stroke bike of Chris Woodward and the big 4-stroke single 500 of Tony Barnes. So it's the man from Bradford, number 62, Chris Woodward, who leads this man here, Tony Barnes, on the Alan Clues 500 CCM bike. That's a 1974 model that Tony Barnes is riding. There's the nice motor Vela just making its way up the hill. Number 57 just making his way through there is Martin Jackson on his RM125 Suzuki. And as you can see, there's some quite quick riders in this pre-1978 and 125 class. So as we take a look at a race leader, this is the battle for the pre-1978 part of this race between that man there, number 62, Chris Woodward, or Woody as he's known, and in second place it's still Tony Barnes on the CCM. But as Chris comes around to complete lap 2, he's still looking good at the front on that very quick YZ Yamaha. As I said, I'm not sure if this is maybe a 250, a 465, or maybe even a 490, but he's certainly going well on that Japanese Yamaha. But if you're a subscriber to my YouTube channel, then you'll be able to see more classic bikes and even more track racing action after my return from my next 2-day event, which will be a 2-day charity scramble from Craig Antlet in Northern Ireland, and that will be in the middle of June. And that's an event where all of the proceeds go to local charities, and in previous years that Northern Ireland Classic Scramble Club have raised tens of thousands of pounds for very good causes. So I'm certainly looking forward to heading over there in the middle of June. Now it looks like number 22 there, that's Roy Coward. I think he appears to have some kind of problem with his RM125 Suzuki. He's parked trackside at the moment, but looks like he's got it going again. I just seen him shooting up the hill here, but there's your race leader crossing the line to complete another lap. It's Chris Woodward on the YZ Yamaha, and I think it's still Tony Barnes, number 56, who's currently in second position. So it looks like Chris Woodward is well on his way to what could be his first win of the day. He's looking quite comfortable there at the front. he's got a decent lead between himself and number 56, Tony Barnes. So there you have your second placed position rider, number 56, Tony Barnes, on the 1974 500cc. Doesn't look like Tony's managing to get close enough to Chris Woodward to make that pass. There's our third place position rider, number 6, that's Stephen Riley on his big 4-stroke Yamaha. As we take a look at number 16, that's Mike Foster on that lovely Spanish old tackle Persang. I think that's a 370 bike that Mike's riding, a lovely machine this, one of the popular old tackles from a way back in the 1970s. But looking back to our race leader, still Chris Woodward, as he makes his way across the line to start his final lap of this race. So this has been quite a comfortable ride by Chris Woodward on the YZ Yamaha. He's more or less led this race from the drop off the gate, so he's looking very comfortable at the front. Still got a decent lead over second place man Tony Barnes, so looks like Chris has got this race in the bag. So Chris Woodward looking very comfortable at the front there. Nobody close enough to make any kind of challenge on this last lap, but there's your second place man. He's also ridden quite a good race here, Tony Barnes, number 56, but I don't think Tony's going to be close enough to make any kind of challenge for the pole position in this race, so I think he'll be still well pleased with that second place position. So just a couple of turns to go now for Chris Woodward to notch up another race victory, and I think that could be a YZ 250 Chris is riding, but don't quote me on that particular point. But he's going to cross the line here in a very comfortable position to take the race win in the pre-1978 class, and it's going to be Tony Barnes who's going to cruise across the line in second. But there appears to be some kind of medical emergency in the far side of the track there, because it looks like we've got a rider down on the far side of the track, and I think that looks like it could be number 22. I think that's Roy Coward on his RM125 Suzuki, who, as I remember, was out for the count for quite some time after this incident, but thanks again to the excellent professional intervention by the Kentdale First Aid medics, and Roy was soon brought around again and is well on his way to a speedy recovery. Anyhow, that brings us around to race 12, and this will be the second race of the afternoon for the Twin Shock 125A class. A cracking lineup there of 125s. I think I count roughly 22 bikes on the start line there, so a very healthy lineup of these 125 scramblers. So it looks like everybody is in position. We're just waiting on the 15-second board being raised on the right hand side there, shortly to be 5 seconds. So as the riders leave the line, looks like another good start by I think that's number 224 there, that's Andy Hinchcliffe on the little CR125 Honda. Number 194 in second position there is Mark Sheldon on the RM Suzuki. So we've got quite a good selection of 125 two-strokes in this race, being led, of course, on lap 1 by number 224 Andy Hinchcliffe. So Andy Hinchcliffe is another one of the riders that's had quite a good weekend. He was quite fast on the Saturday, but he did have a few issues with his machine on the Saturday, which led him to not having such good results on the Saturday, but he's going well here on the Sunday on his little CR125. Number 116 in second place there. That's Dean Warren on his 1979 RM 125. So Dean Warren's made a quite good start here in this Twin Shock 125A class race. And so as the riders begin lap 2, it's this man here, number 224, Andy Hinchcliffe on the CR125 Honda, being chased by number 116. That's Dean Warren. I think currently in third position is number 117. That will be Aaron Rowe, who's just coming into your picture now. So he's currently in third position. Number 41, who's just coming into shot now, is Adrian Williams on his RM 125. It looks like we've got a rider down into the corner there. That's number 58, so that will be Andy Robinson on his little YZ 125. Looks like Andy's okay, so just a case of getting back on that bike and heading up the hill once again. So we're back with our race leader again, number 224, Andy Hinchcliffe from Northwich, going well on that little CR 125 Honda. So Andy coming down to cross the finish line again to begin another lap, and currently it's still number 116, Dean Warren, in second position, and Aaron Rowe is currently in third, and both of those bikes are little RM 125 Suzukis. But essentially this entire event this weekend has been focused around one man, Bill Brown, the man who not only gives us all of those superb Wolfsport goodies like race shirts, boots and helmets, but down the years and even here in 2025, Bill Brown is still supporting these kind of local scrambles with either sponsorship or some other means of assistance. And as an ambassador of our sport, I can't really think of anybody who's better suited to the job. So a big, huge thanks to Bill for his continuing support of our much loved off-road racing. And without doubt, he's a very worthy representative for our guest of honour for this year's 2025 event. But we are back with our pole position man in this Twin Shock 125A class race. It's Andy Hinchcliffe, number 224, as he comes across the line to complete another racing lap. I think Andy's got quite a decent gap between himself and second place man, number 116, Dean Warren. So Andy looking very comfortable at this stage on the little CR125. And I hope you've enjoyed everything that I've brought you from this year's Bill Brown Classic Scramble weekend. It's been quite a lot of work on my behalf, but certainly well worth it in the end if you enjoy having a look at what went down over the 2 days. But it's currently still Andy Hinchcliffe, your race leader, number 177, appears to now have taken that second place. So it's now Aaron Rowe who's in second position, and Dean Warren has now been demoted to third. Looks like we've got another faller going into the corner there. Looks like another rider with mechanical problems. That's number 106, Marcus Kears, on that quite nice looking Italian Moto Villa. But there's your race leader coming across the line to begin his final lap. I thought he was actually going to draw up there because Andy Hinchcliffe looked like he had missed a gear or something there coming across the line, but everything appears to be okay, so he could be heading towards his second win of the afternoon. There's your second place man just making his way through. That's number 177, Aaron Rowe. And I think that's a 1979 RM 125 that Aaron's riding, so he's another one of the riders that's going quite well this afternoon in this 125A class formula. There's your third place man going through, number 116, that's Dean Warren. Number 51 is Martin Stokes, and Martin's also riding the little CR 25 Honda. So this had been a relatively easy ride to the checkered flag for Andy Hinchcliffe. More or less, he's led this race from the drop of the gate, so this is another good performance here from the Northwich man as he heads towards the finish line. So looks like it's going to be win. I think this is win number 2 for Andy Hinchcliffe for the Sunday. So he crosses the line to take that win, and it looks like it's going to be Aaron Rowe who's going to take second position. It'll be number 116 Dean Warren who is going to finish in third position. And so that brings us on to race Lucky 13, and this will be the second race for the Twin Shock 250 class. Another quite good lineup of bikes for this class, and as you can see, the weather absolutely perfect here at the Westmoreland County Showground. So we're just about ready to drop the gate as the riders charge into turn 1. It looks like a good start by number 22, that's Peter Carr there going into the turn. Second position looks like it's number 43, that's Ryan Ireland. Alex Martin's also made a good start there, number 78 on the outside. Right, so as they begin lap 1, it looks like Peter Carr is slightly ahead of number 43, Ryan Ireland. And as I remember, these two had a good battle in the first Twin Shock 250 race of the Sunday, so it looks like these two are going to start where they left off in the previous race. So currently it's number 22, Peter Carr, who has that slight advantage over number 43, Ryan Ireland, who nips down the inside and takes the lead of this race. So Ryan Ireland is another one of the very talented 250 riders at this event this weekend, and he looks like he's already starting to stretch his lead over second place man number 22, Peter Carr. So it's been quite a busy weekend for myself, as you can imagine, filming all the bikes in the paddock on the Saturday and Sunday, and of course all of the racing on the track. So it's been quite a slog to get all these videos put together, but thankfully they're getting some decent views, so it's all very worthwhile in the end. But there's your race leader, number 43, Ryan Ireland, who leads Peter Carr in second position. As we watch the rest of the chasing pack make their way through, just coming into short is number 95, that's Aaron Murphy on his 250 Honda Red Rocket number 218 there. That's a lovely Montesa Capra 250 from 1979. That's John Tomlinson on his quite rare Montesa. But we've still got this nice scrap going on at the front between number 43 Ryan Ireland and Peter Carr, number 22. Doesn't look like Peter's finished just yet, so he was trying to make a move down the inside there, but unfortunately couldn't make it stick. But Peter's certainly managing to keep in touch with that very quick bike of number 43 Ryan Ireland. So it's the man from Kendal, number 43 Ryan Ireland, your race leader. So Ryan's another one of the boys that's not had too far to travel to get to this event this weekend, but he's certainly coming under pressure here from Peter Carr. Ryan having a look round both sides there to see which side Peter's going to try and make that move, but he's certainly giving Ryan Ireland something to think about in this second 250 Twin Shock race. And if you watch the footage from the Saturday's race programme, you may remember Peter Carr here, number 22, was riding that big 4-stroke Yamaha on the Saturday's race programme. Number 3 there is Graham Miller from East Kilbride in Scotland. So Graham doing quite well there on his Husky. So it appears that we've got a slight change at the front for the first three positions. It's still at number 43, Ryan Ireland, your race leader, but Andy Hinchcliffe is now making his way through the pack, and he's currently now in second position. So Andy Hinchcliffe is on an absolute flyer on that 250 Red Rocket. Peter Carr is now promoted to third position, so this could be a good race to the finish line between Ryan Ireland and this man here, number 224, Andy Hinchcliffe, who this time, of course, is out on his 250 Red Rocket, and, as opposed to, of course, his CR125 that he was racing in the Twin Shock 125A class. So Andy Hinchcliffe certainly on a charge here, but there's your race leader, number 43, Ryan Ireland. So we're looking at number 67 there, that's Michael Tweddle. He's been chased by that man there, number 14, that's Tony Pye on his 250 Red Rocket. So these two having a little ding-dong for the lesser places. But we're back with our race leader again, number 43, Ryan Ireland. But Andy Hinchcliffe appears to be closing in on Ryan, so we could maybe have a change of rider at the front here before the end of this race. But Ryan Ireland just crossed the line to begin his final lap of this Twin Shock 250 race, and you can just see how close Andy Hinchcliffe is in the background. So I think we could maybe have a change of leader at the front before the end of this lap, but it's still currently number 43, Ryan Ireland, but Andy Hinchcliffe is certainly motoring on his 250 Red Rocket. He appears to be lining up some kind of move on Ryan before the end of this race. So as they both descend from the hill, we've got about less than half a lap to go, and it's still Ryan Ireland who leads number 224, Andy Hinchcliffe, but absolutely nothing between those two at the front. As we take a look at some of the other riders making their way through, but it's currently Ryan Ireland with the advantage as they make their way up the hill for the final time. Doesn't look like Andy's going to be able to make that move unless he cuts in really tight here, but it looks like it's going to be a well-deserved win for this young man here, number 43. So it's going to be Ryan Ireland who takes the win from Andy Hinchcliffe, who's going to cross the line in second position. But a cracking race between these two very talented riders. Number 327, it looks like Stuart Muirhead's dropped his 1980 250 Michael in the dirt there. That's an almost identical bike to the one that I used to race way back in the day, but looks like Stuart's perfectly fine. So we're now moving on to race 14, and this will be the second race for the Twin Shock over 60 years of age class. Now, remember we had some good racing from Peter Williamson and John Eden in the previous race, so there are a couple of riders to look out for in this class. So it looks like everybody's good to go as they leave the line. It looks like John Eden's made a cracking start there right down the inside. So currently as they go into turn 2, it's Peter Williamson who leads at number 240. I think that's John Eden on the YZ Yamaha. So as the riders make their way down from the top of the hill, it is indeed Peter Williamson, your race leader from number 431, who's in second place now. That's Robert Dobson on his 465 YZ Yamaha, and it's John Eden currently in third position. So as they head round to complete lap 1, it's number 133, Peter Williamson on the big 480 Honda. Second is still number 431, that's Robert Dobson. John Eden there at number 240 is currently in third position. I think John Eden is riding the big 490 YZ Yamaha. So there's Peter Williamson just crossing the line. Number 431, John Dobson in second, but it looks like he's been challenged there by number 240, John Eden. And as you can see, many of these riders are, of course, over 60 years of age, but nevertheless quite quick on these old classic twin shock racers. So on lap 2, it's that man there, number 133, Peter Williamson, your race leader. Second is John Eden, number 240. It looks like Graham Smith is now moved up into third position on his RM 400 Suzuki. So Graham Smith certainly on a charge in this over 60s race. Just coming into shot there, number 77 is David Maliborn, and he's riding a 1981 250 Michael. So back at the front, it's currently number 133 Peter Williamson on the 480 Honda, who of course has already won a race here this afternoon in the previous over 60s race. So he's made another cracking start here in the second race of the afternoon in this class. So Peter comes across the line to complete another lap. It's still number 240 John Eden in second position on the YZ490 Yamaha. So John's another one of the riders who have ridden superbly here this weekend. And just behind John Eden is that man there just making his way through, number 233, that's Graham Smith on his RM400 Suzuki. As we take a look at our battle for 4th and 5th places, number 81 there on the yellow Suzuki is Chris Cannon. So Chris is also riding well in this over 60s class race. That's number 640 there, that's Mark Burrows on his 250 Husqvarna, just making his way through the turn there. And number 119 just coming into shot there is Gordon Forbes from Gairloch Head on the west coast of Scotland. So we're back at the front of the pack with the second over 60s class race of the day, and it's still Peter Williamson, your race leader, from number 240 John Eden, and it doesn't look like John's getting close enough on that YZ490 Yamaha. Peter Williamson absolutely flying here on the big two-stroke 480 Honda. Just coming into the turn now is number 233, that's Graham Smith on the RM400 Suzuki, and in fourth place it looks like it's Chris Cannon at number 81 on the RM250 Suzuki. So it's currently the man from Lark Hall in Scotland, number 233 Graham Smith, who's another one of the riders that have went very well here this afternoon. Graham also rode well in the Saturday's race programme, so he's had quite a good weekend here at the Westmoreland County Showground. So that's your third placed position rider, number 233 Graham Smith. So we'll just pick up a few of the other riders in this race. Number 26 just going through there, that's Paul Patterson. He's also riding one of these very popular 250 Honda Red Rockets. But there doesn't seem to be any change at the front, although John Eden trying to make a pass on Peter Williamson coming down the hill there, but he couldn't make it stick. But currently still Peter Williamson, your race leader, from number 240 John Eden in second position. But it's not for the want of trying, because I think John's tried a couple of passes on Peter Williamson but just couldn't make it stick. He's a wily old fox, is this guy Peter Williamson. He certainly knows how to ride a bike. John Eden there in second place, so maybe John can make another challenge before the end of this second in over 60s class race, because both these boys are now on their final lap. But certainly Peter Williamson will be wanting to chalk up another race win, because he already won the first over 60s class race of the Sunday, so he'll be wanting to make it 2 wins out of 2. There's your second place man, number 240, John Eden. As we take a look at number 640 once again, that's Mark Burrows on his 250 Husqvarna. So we're going to get back with our race leaders as they head towards the checkered flag. It's still Peter Williamson, number 133 on the big 480 Honda, who leads John Eden in second position. So it looks like Peter is going to secure win number 2 as they head down the hill for the very last time. But this has been another very good ride here by the veteran racer Peter Williamson, as he comes across the line to take his second win of the day in the twin shock over 60s class, and it's going to be John Eden who's going to come in a very respectable second place position. Yes, so that quite nicely brings us on to race 15, and this is the second race of the afternoon for the twin shock aged 45 to 59 years of age. Another decent lineup of this age group, and you may remember we had a good battle in this age group in the previous race between Mark Fulton and Willie Burgess, which consequently led to Willie Burgess taking the win in that race. But I don't think Willie Burgess is taking part in this race, so look out for Mark Fulton. We expect him to be running at the front, so as the riders leave the line, it is indeed Mark Fulton, number 48 on the 500 twin shock Honda, who is your race leader from the start gate. So it's certainly Mark Fulton, number 48, your race leader, and it looks like it could be number 44 in second place there. I think that's Mick Davis on his 490 Michael, so he's also made a good start. Jonathan Bethel is in there in the top 3 or 4 riders on his big 540 4-stroke Husqvarna. So there's your race leader coming round to start lap 1. It's Mark Fulton, number 48 on the Stuart Bland prepared twin shock 500 Honda. And as I said, Mark had a really good battle with Willie Burgess in this previous age group race, and consequently, of course, that led to Willie Burgess winning that race, and I'm not entirely sure as to why he's not taking part in this second race, but that kind of leaves the field open for this man here, number 48, Mark Fulton, and that's a very quick 500 Honda he's got underneath him there. Mark, of course, was an ex-Works Kawasaki rider a way back in the day. There's your second place man, number 44, Mick Davis, just making his way through on his 81 490. Number 55 is Keith Barnes, just going past there on that lovely Clues machine. So there's your current race leader, number 48, Mark Fulton. Second place is this man here, number 44, that's Mick Davis on his 490 Michael. Currently in third position is number 2, that's Sean Muir, and that's a 250 Red Rocket that Sean's riding, but there seems to have been a coming together between number 3 John Smith and number 6 Dale Silk. They seem to have had a bit of a fracas there at the far side of the track, but no such problems for this man here, the man from Cockermouth, number 48, Mark Fulton. Now, as I remember, I think this bike here of Mark's was all prepped by Stuart Bland, who did all engineering work, converting it from a monoshock bike into a twin shock racer. In second place, it's still number 44, Mick Davis, with number 2 Sean Muir still in third position. It looks like Jonathan Bethel is starting to get in the mix as well with his big 4-stroke Husqvarna. As we take a look at Lee Davis, number 8 there, and his black 490 Michael. But you can see it doesn't take Mark Fulton long to complete a lap of this Westmoreland County Showground circuit. He's already coming round to complete lap 3, so Mark Fulton certainly on a charge at the front of this pack. It's still currently number 44 Mick Davis in second place with Sean Muir in third, but Mark Fulton looking very good here on this super quick 500 two-stroke Honda. This race, of course, could have been quite different if we'd had Willie Burgess taking part in this race again, because Mark and Willie Burgess had a fantastic race in the previous age group in this class, but I don't know what the story is with Willie Burgess. Maybe he had some kind of mechanical issues and couldn't take part in this race too. But there's your second place man, Mick Davis, number 44 on the 490 Michael, and it looks like number 2 Sean Muir is having a bit of a challenge for that second place position. Number 55 going through there again is Keith Barnes on that beautiful 4-stroke CCM. Keith's another rider that's went very well here this afternoon on that lovely 500 4-stroker. So there's your race leader coming round to start his final lap of this race. It's number 48 Mark Fulton. So it's last lap time for this man here, number 48 Mark Fulton. Currently it's still number 44 Mick Davis in second place, and it's another very good showing by number 2 Sean Muir. And you have to remember that Sean Muir is only riding a 250 Honda Red Rocket, so he's doing very well to keep up with these big 500 bikes just ahead of him. So there's Mark Fulton just going through. There's your second place man, Mick Davis on the 490 Michael, and you can just see Sean Muir there on the outside on that 250 Honda, and he's doing very well to keep up with Mick Davis's big Michael. Number 55 going through there again is Keith Barnes on the CCM. So it looks like it's going to be win number 1 of the afternoon for Mark Fulton. He secured a second place in that previous race, remember, so it looks like he's going to win this race, and you can see he's absolutely strolling towards the finish line. So this has been quite a good ride here by Mark Fulton, even although he's not had much in the way of a challenge. And coming across the line in second place, it looks like it's going to be Sean Muir, so he's going to finish just ahead of number 44 Mick Davis. So then that brings us to the very last race that I filmed over the weekend. This is race 16, but as I said, there were 24 races on the Sunday, but we only managed to stay until the end of this race due to another commitment. But I hope you've enjoyed everything that we've brought you from this 2025 Bill Brown Classic Scramble weekend. So as the riders leave the line, it looks like Brad O'Leary's made a good start there. Graham Riley is looks like he's in second. No, Graham Riley is in pole position now. It's Brad O'Leary in second position. Brad had another good race in the previous race in this class as they head up the hill to begin lap 1. So at the front on lap 1, it's number 711, Graham Riley, who leads number 2. That's Brad O'Leary on the Willsport 490 Michael. I think these two had quite a good scrap in the previous race as well. Brad didn't get off to the best of starts on lap 1 in that previous race, but he's certainly off to a flyer in this race, currently in second position as both riders come around to complete lap 1. And of course, if you'd watched the previous race in this class, you would have seen that Brad had quite a good start at the beginning of the race, but I think he had some kind of issues at the far side of the track and he dropped down about 4 or 5 places, but he finally came through the pack to take a well-deserved second place finish. And Brad's sitting in second place, just behind that man there who's just went through, number 711 Graham Wiley. We're just going to try and find out who's in third position as they make their way up the hill. And it looked like that was number 18 Michael Smith in third position, and it was Robert Shuttleworth who's currently in fourth on that lovely 4-stroke Yamaha. So we're looking to the far side of the track to pick up our race leader. It's still number 711 Graham Wiley. I think Graham's riding another one of those big 480 two-stroke Hondas, and Graham appears to have a decent gap between himself and second place man Brad O'Leary. So Graham Riley certainly on his way here, but Brad O'Leary not too far behind and certainly making up a bit of ground on the man in the picture here. So there's your second place man, Brad O'Leary, on the Willsport 490 Michael. And I think there's been a change of position in third place. I think it's number 16 now. Robert Shuttleworth appears to have passed Michael Smith on the Michael, so it's Robert Shuttleworth on that big 4-stroke Yamaha who's now your third place man. Number 18 Michael Smith is now in fourth position. Number 28 just making his way through is Stephen Coulson. I think that's a KTM that Stephen's riding there. But certainly take nothing away from this man here, number 711 Graham Riley, a very quick rider on this 480 two-stroke Honda. I think that's another one of those monoshock Hondas that's been converted for twin shock racing. Quite a popular mod on these big Honda two-strokes. So Graham Riley there in first position. Second place it's still Brad O'Leary on the Willsport Michael, and it's still number 16 Robert Shuttleworth on the big Yamaha 4-stroker who's currently in third. So there's your second place man, Brad O'Leary on the Willsport 490 Michael. I'm sure Bill Brown will be well pleased to see one of his bikes riding in second position in this race. Brad O'Leary looking very good on that big twin shock Michael. There's your third place man, that's Robert Shuttleworth, and that was a bike that was actually ridden by Robert's dad on the Saturday, who also went well on that bike on the Saturday. Number 77 just making his way through there is Dennis Sharp, and that's a lovely Curtis Honda that Dennis is currently riding. A lovely looking machine, and he looks like he's just been passed there by number 94, who is David Lamb. So we're heading back to the finish line as our race leader has already crossed the line to start his final lap. There's your second place man, number 2 Brad O'Leary. Doesn't look like Brad is going to get close enough to Graham Wiley in this instance, but this has been another very good showing by that talented Michael rider. So this will possibly be 2 second, whoops, nearly the commentator's curse there, but this looks like it could be another well-deserved second place finish for number 2 Brad O'Leary. There's your third place man, Robert Shuttleworth, on that very quick 4-stroke Yamaha. So he's looking good for a third place finish here, as the rest of the pack make their way through to begin the final lap of this race. 34, just making his way through, is Bradley Walker, and he's riding a big 500 Swedish Husqvarna two-stroker. So as our race leader comes around to take the checkered flag, it's going to be a very well-deserved win for this man here, number 7-11, Graham Riley, and that very quick 480 Honda. And just coming down the hill and into your picture now will be our second place finisher. That's going to be number 2, Brad O'Leary on the World Sport Micro. And it looks like it's going to be Robert Shuttleworth, number 16, who's going to take that final podium position. So there you go. That more or less concludes everything that took place over the 2 days of this Bill Brown Classic Scramble. So it's a huge thanks to the Westmoreland Motor Club for all of their hard work and organising a cracking weekend for everybody concerned. And of course, a big shout out to Bill Brown as well for being our guest of honour this year. But finally, a big pat on the back to myself for taking the time to film, edit and put these videos together, because it's been quite a long slog, but it's certainly been well worth it in the end. So until my next video posting on my YouTube channel, thanks for watching, and it's a very good goodbye from the Westmoreland Motor Club at the Bill Brown Classic Scramble.